About that, guys. With these, what sucks about a lot of these podcasting things, I just saw a major podcast the other day, million followers, and they had to cancel their podcast for the day because they you could only hear them, you couldn't see them, and a lot of these
So
I'm not going to
temperamental.
name any names, but a lot of these very popular programs, they're not well done. I mean, they all have glitches of some kind,
Hmm.
and are really hopefully in the next year or so they'll stop worrying about all the whistles and bells and get these things to work properly. So very discouraging to me when technical difficulties happen. I really hate them. But anyway, let's start the Super Bowl. Very interesting game. We kind of got it right. We both thought Seattle would win by 7 to 10 points,
Yep.
and that it would be a defensive struggle. And it pretty much was. There anything surprising that you saw?
The only thing that surprised me was how, I wouldn't say how dominant the Seattle defense was, but just how much the Patriots offense struggled. Like it was, I know Seattle's the number one defense, all that stuff, but I thought that the Patriots had enough firepower. Drake Mays, he was second in the MVP voting. He has some weapons out there. They have some exciting running backs. I'm like, I expected them to put up a little bit more of a fight than they did, because they were shut out in the first half. Like they only scored one touchdown. It was kind of a consolation one. They had a chance to get close at the end there, before Drake May threw that interception, but I think the complete dominance of the Seattle defense was a little surprising to me.
I and we talked about it. If they got to Drake May, we thought they would kind of be toast. And Drake
Yep.
May struggles with the pass rush. You can say
Hmm.
whatever you want. That guy does not like being pressured, and
Yeah.
he struggled. In the first half, it was interesting. We talked about this with Amy Trask, and go to our live. Khaled got to give a couple 2 cents and ask some questions. It was a great time with Amy. We always love when she's on, the ex CEO of the Raiders. But what was interesting is I rewatched the game a few times on the great half hour highlight thing that they have on YouTube for the
Hmm.
NFL, YouTube on the NFL. And what was very interesting to me is in the first half, Seattle was blitzing a lot.
Hmm.
And New England didn't have a running back, and a lot of the times chipping on anyone that was blitzing. So they really got to him, multiple sacks, multiple pressures. And then in the
Hmm.
second half, New England said, okay, we're going to leave a running back in here to block. The running back started blocking, then they stopped blitzing. So now the very thing that they were doing fairly well on was flare passes to the running backs. Now you take
Yeah.
that away, and your four guys that are rushing are doing really well. They had no chance. Drake May holds on to the ball too long. If you give him time, he's very good. But a lot of
Yeah.
quarterbacks are very good. But with a rush, he just struggles, and that's the key to Seattle. Seattle's run game was doing great.
Amazing.
Great
Yeah.
MVP performance. I mean, their running game was cracking. Their offense wasn't killing it. Sam Darnold was struggling with the defense of the Patriots. He had an okay game, nothing special. I know a couple people attacked you online with a couple posts that you did saying Sam Darnold was a fraud. Probably a Patriot fan, but Darnold had a great year. He did what he needed to do in the Super Bowl.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair to Drake May, I think any quarterback is going to struggle under
Mhm.
those conditions where he's being pressured, 20 times a game, gets sacked, I think 6 or 7 times a game. Tom Brady back there, a couple in those Super Bowls against the Giants, that was the same recipe. Pressure Brady up the middle, beat him up a little bit, and any quarterback is going to struggle. Uh, what was remarkable is the fact that despite, I think what was really interesting and remarkable is the level of detail that the Seahawks, it put into their defense, which I think is a credit to Mike McDonald. He's a defensive like savant. He's a guru. I saw a stat. I don't know if this is true. I couldn't really believe it, but they said he's the first NFL head coach to win a Super Bowl while also calling the defensive plays. And I thought, I was
Oh,
like, what about Bill Belichick? What
yeah. I
about,
thought Belichick did.
yeah, maybe he let his defensive coordinator, maybe he was like the architect of the defense, but he let his defensive coordinators call the defense, call the plays. But this guy is such a savant, and they put so much detail and disguise into their defense. And that was really what killed Drake May. Is he's still a young quarterback, it's only his second year, and they just beat the hell out of him and they confused the hell out of him. I saw
And
a
the
lot of
problem,
breakdowns. Yeah, go ahead.
the thing I see with a lot of young quarterbacks too is they don't audible. I
Hmm.
mean, they why don't throw slants? Why don't throw quick ends? Why don't you throw quick patterns to the tight end up the middle? I mean, if you looked, and I kept watching, and when they would blitz or they would get near them, I'd look, and all their receivers are 10, 15, 20 yards downfield.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you can't have 5 and 7 seconds. You guys are getting rushed. You got to change. But they would not
Hmm.
change. They would not audible. They just kept running the same type of offense, and they just had no chance. I
Yeah,
just think it was a poor game plan. I thought that Seattle outcoached them, outplayed
absolutely.
them, and this was a definite. A lot of fans were upset because of the lack of scoring and the lack of. I don't think either one of these teams are all that great. They're good, but they're not that great. The parity is really into the NFL this year. I think there was a lot of
Yeah.
nice teams and good teams,
Hmm.
but that was the one thing I was worried about. These are not all time great teams, but I
Did you
think
see
what I
that
did,
Seattle had the highest point differential in a playoff
yeah,
run in NFL history? And they
yeah,
also never trailed in three playoff games. So
yeah.
it's it's an interesting stat. I know you said they're not that that
I don't
great,
think that.
but I agree with you. It's the season. It was a weird season. There's no real
Yeah.
dominant team, but it's just interesting that in this like season of parity, we get this incredibly dominant, at least statistically, team in the playoffs.
And they said that Drake May had the worst statistical run of any quarterback
Yeah,
in history for the postseason.
it was
And
really
I
bad.
believe who was number two was Peyton Manning. So he was either two or three. People
Yep.
forget Peyton Manning was not a great postseason player. He's one game over 500, and he still holds the record for the worst game for a winning NFL Super Bowl quarterback in history
I
when
think
they
he threw for
played.
like 120 yards against that
Yeah,
that
he was
Panthers
one for
team. Yeah.
13 on third down. He threw a key interception that could have lost the game, but their defense just stopped them in four downs. I mean, it was just their defense was so dominant. But
Yeah. It was the no
yeah,
fly zone defense, I believe was the
yeah,
nickname in Denver.
no
So
fly zone. Yep, and they were very excellent. And boy, and I hate Denver. I'm a AFC West hater other than Raiders, and it's yeah, that was rough. But uh, and Cam Newton really struggled, and then he fumbled, had a key
that, yeah,
turnover. So I mean,
infamous
it was a
fumble, yeah.
yeah, but I think this was. I think we have a lot of New Orleans fans, and they were upset that the Super Bowl's not there every year, and I'm just like, oh, come on, Uh, but but like I said, it I think some are calling it the worst Super Bowl all around in history
No,
with the
come on now.
commercials, with the halftime show. I I don't know about that, but I know
Well, we could get to the
ESPN.
halftime show.
Yeah, ESPN rated it higher because that's obviously their show, but they're part of the NFL. They own part of the NFL. But boy, it was funny to watch just the and fans are very spoiled. If the game's amazing, they'll be happy. And but the only thing now, let's go to the commercials.
Yeah.
It was like an influencer. 24 commercials with celebrities as the key players in it.
Wow.
They were horrible commercials.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, there's not as much excitement about the commercials because they come out early
Yeah,
nowadays. Like that Xfinity one, that one was a hit at my house for the people that hadn't seen it. But I saw it like 3 days before that on Twitter, so I was like, okay, I knew it was coming. There was no
yeah,
surprise there, and I think they release most of them on YouTube or on
yeah.
social
They
and stuff
do. They
before.
have, in
Yeah.
fact, they do it about 1 or 2 months ahead of time.
Hmm.
And I watched the Dunkin' Donuts. That was the most brutal. That was horrible.
You didn't
I
like that
mean,
one?
I don't like Friends, so I'm not a big Friend person, but that was brutal. And I thought the Rocket Mortgage was so emotional, and we talked about that. It was very, very
Yeah, they
emotional. And
tug at the heartstrings. They always do that,
yeah,
like with their
and
commercials. Yeah.
and I thought that that was okay. There was a couple others that were pretty good. I was a little offended because I like Coke and I don't really like Pepsi that much. Pepsi taking the
Yeah.
polar bear.
They stole the polar
Uh,
bears.
yeah, that was lame. But I just think in general there was just too many celebrities, too much. It was almost like they did AI movies with celebrities, AI shorts, and it
Yeah, and
was
speaking of
just
AI, it was like every other commercial was for some, AI product, whether it's Claude or ChatGPT or that other one, the AI.com or whatever that website was. Yeah, it was that weight loss commercials, so like Ozempic, all those
yeah.
stuff, and then the AI. It was just that's what we're about, I guess. Oh, and crypto. There was a lot of crypto commercials.
Oh,
I
gotta have
really
crypto.
I really hated that Coinbase commercial. That was
Oh,
terrible. I'm like, you're just gonna put lyrics on a screen. Like, there's no creativity. I don't need a celebrity like endorser. Just give me something other than lyrics on a screen. It's very strange.
we went through the top 10 and we were talking about it. And I mean, you look back and a little before your time, but Mean Joe Green, when the kid, gives him a Coke and,
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah,
here's this one for you, kid. And then where's the beef? That became such a huge
the
thing.
classic. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Coca Cola, the Clydesdales, all the amazing commercials that they had. So those were some of the greatest ever. I remember the 1984 commercial with Apple when Macintosh came
Wow.
out. It was huge, and that commercial was just amazing. And I'm not a huge Apple person, but boy, that was revolutionary, and they
Hmm.
just did it right. They know how to announce things. So great. That was an all-time great commercial. The monks singing monks. I mean, there's a lot of incredible commercials. The all-time best all-time one is probably the 9/11 Clydesdales with Budweiser,
Oh, where
where
they
the
kneel, right?
yeah,
Right,
they
and they.
need. Oh man, that's just brutal right in front of New York. That was amazing. But Budweiser's probably the greatest commercials of all time. But boy, the all time commercials, there are some really good ones. And there's a top 50 website that has them.
Hmm.
That if you want to go check them out, they're really good. But yeah, the commercials. What did you think about the halftime show? I watched it just for you.
Okay,
I
good,
watched
good.
it. What did you
uh,
think?
So I thought it was not meant for the live audience, which was strange. I don't understand why they did that. I felt like it was more like a music video
Yeah,
than like a, because I saw some of the clips from people like watching it. They couldn't even see him as he was walking through the bushes and stuff. I mean, to be honest, I am a Bad Bunny fan. I'm not like a super fan. I don't know all his songs. I know like
hmm
his hits, listen to it when it comes on at the gym or on the radio or whatever. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought they put on a hell of a show. I liked a lot of the messaging. I think we're aligned in terms of the some of the messages that he was putting out about, unity and love
very
and
positive.
yeah, very, very positive. And I think there was a lot of, you know, talk beforehand, a lot of controversy about, oh, he's going to try to make a statement about ICE or immigration, or, he was going to like come out in a dress and do all these things that people were like freaking out about, even though nothing was confirmed. And I think he came out with a very positive, unifying message about, America is not just the United States of America. It's all these countries that he listed off. He even included Canada and Jamaica. He listed every single country, in
Yeah.
the American continent. So I thought it was great. I know a lot of people, they were kind of confused. They're like, wait, is he a singer? Is he a rapper? Like, he doesn't sound that great live. But I think most rappers don't sound great live anyway. So it was like, it's one of those things. But I love the energy of it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I thought it was positive. I was confused too, and I tried to be very open minded. And I thought it was more like a music video, like you
Yeah.
said, and I was a little confused. I thought that it was funny that people in the stands were a little confused, but I think the
Yeah.
message was good. His music, I'm not into. I love Latin
It's fine.
stars.
Yeah.
Ricky Martin and Lady Gaga,
That was
you
awesome.
know,
That was
I would
fun.
have rather had it with them, to be honest with you. But two huge stars, and Ricky Martin, obviously a huge Latin star. So I thought that those cameos were really good. Cardi B, and we're going to talk about that in a
Mm-hmm.
moment. She was on, she did her thing on stage.
Yeah.
She lip synced the words, so that was in tune with what she usually does. But yeah, I thought. I don't think anyone died. I don't think it hurt anybody. I thought it was a positive message, so
Hmm.
it's okay. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody. If you're a younger person and you're into that, you probably were pretty excited about it. It was a great backdrop, good
Hmm.
weather.
Yeah.
Beautiful field. So
And let's be honest,
Latin
most,
girls dancing, so that's not
yeah,
bad. Never
there you go.
complain about that.
But I
So
mean, most
yeah.
most of the Super Bowl like halftime shows are not great. That's the thing. Like
Mm-mm.
they're not. It's not a full concert. I mean, like there's very very few where you're like, oh, that was a great show. Even if it's a great entertainer, I think Beyonce did the Super Bowl at Levi's 10 years ago, and she's
Mm.
probably the most popular entertainer outside of Taylor Swift. And like even her show was okay,
I didn't. Yeah,
right?
I didn't think our show was very good.
Yeah, it's not usually that great. But what really bothers me is like I don't know what it is about today's society, but it's just like if people take this approach where like if I don't like something, then it's terrible. No
Yeah.
one is allowed to like it, right? Like whether it's food, a sport, an athlete, a politician, a musician, like it's like if you don't like Bad Bunny, it doesn't mean he's a terrible artist. You just
Yeah.
don't like it. There's nothing more
Yeah. Just not
subjective.
my thing. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
like music and
I,
food. There's nothing more subjective than those two things.
yeah. And that's the problem with today is when I was growing up younger, and if I sound old, but when I was growing up, we never really cared about what anyone else liked. We just liked our stuff. You liked your
Yeah,
stuff, and
exactly.
that's how it. Now it's everybody's so judgy. If I like something, you better like it, and if you don't, there's something really wrong with
Hmm.
you.
Yeah.
No, come on, man. It's live and let live. If that's your thing, if you like, my brother used to love. God, to this day, it's still making me a little queasy. I think he would put salami, bologna, mustard, ketchup, peanut butter, and
Oh,
potato chips in a sandwich.
oh man,
And
you had me
I,
until the peanut butter. I was like,
it had me sick when I mean, oh my God, I'm like, what are you doing? You can't eat that. But he loved that
yeah.
sandwich, and that's his thing. So yeah, we're a live and let live. I don't get all the negativity. It's what I don't like is when people lip sync and all that stuff.
Hmm.
If you're paying hundreds of dollars to go to a Taylor Swift concert or a Beyonce concert,
Hmm.
if they're not singing, they need to be telling you, today we're going to dance. We're not going to
Hmm.
sing. We're going to lip sync. If you disclose that, which they won't,
No.
then that's cool. It
Yeah.
because then people aren't going to say, "I'm not giving $1,000 ticket to listen to you mime your words." Now, this was an interesting thing, and I don't know if it's true, so don't sue me, Miley Cyrus. Uh, I had a friend that took his daughters to Miley Cyrus because it was key to their social standing. And so they went to the Miley Cyrus concert.
Hmm.
He swears that not only was she lip syncing, she had a double to dance because they had
Wow.
a trap door.
Okay.
And he said he could see it with the fireworks. They would always turn off the lights sometimes when she was dancing. And he said
Okay.
he swore he saw a trap door with another girl come out and dance for her
That's
because
hilarious.
she
Maybe she was
couldn't
tired.
dance.
Too many shows, too many nights. I don't know.
Hannah Montana can't go that long, so
Yeah.
she's got to have. It just who was the one Ashley Simpson who got caught on stage, and
Yeah. On SNL, I think, right? Like
yep,
she ran off
and
stage.
then
It
all of
kept
a
playing.
sudden she does some folksy dance like
Yeah.
she's messing around, and it's like, oh my God, if you can't, and then they'll laugh at older people that dance 60s, 70s, or Bruce Springsteen. The dudes are still singing; they're not lip
Yeah.
syncing. So you got to give it up for them. But yeah, halftime show, no one died, everything was okay.
Yeah.
Uh, I even watched the other one. There wasn't much to it, and
It was
Kid Rock,
pre-recorded. It was
yeah,
pre-recorded and lip
pre-recorded
synced. Yeah.
live
It's like,
show. But Kid Rock
yeah.
is the worst lip syncer. He's dancing, forgetting he's supposed to be singing, and he's still singing,
Yeah.
and then the mic is at his waist. I'm like, what is he doing?
It was
You're gonna
not the
lip
highest
sync
of
it.
production values. I'll say
Oh
that.
my
Yeah.
gosh, God knows how much he drank that day, I'm sure. But boy, that was brutal. Now, so the commercials we weren't too hip on. The The game was okay. I mean, if you're a regular fan, you want 30, 40, points, but this is just an old school game.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, it wasn't the greatest Super Bowl in the world, but
No,
uh, you
not the
know,
worst
it,
either. I don't think.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's others that have been worse that I'd rather see that than see Denver get destroyed by the 49ers or the Bills getting destroyed by
yeah.
Dallas or some,
There was some
no,
like suspense. I mean,
yeah,
12
at the
nothing at
end.
half. You're like I would rather have watched this than, Seattle Denver where it was like 41-6 or whatever. Or
Yeah.
and I feel like the Patriots Rams one was like 13-6. That was a terrible Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Um, and I even missed the only touchdown that was scored because the power went out in my apartment when we were watching. And I was
Oh
like, oh,
my
I missed the
God.
only moment. So this wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best, but obviously wasn't the worst either. In
Yeah,
recent
it
history.
was interesting. I think that uh, I thought again, and I took a lot of hits from the Patriots fan. I just didn't think either one of these teams, Seattle maybe, but no one
Yeah.
really. I didn't think the Patriots were a real Super Bowl caliber team. I didn't think they were. I thought their defense was excellent, but their
Hmm.
offense just wasn't good enough. And here's before we get into the football stuff. Cardi B, they made a huge deal about Stephon Diggs and her possibly getting married at halftime if the Patriots win. Well, here's what happens. They
Okay.
go and Cardi B's all happy. She's dressed like 1980s Whitney Houston, very conservative and all that stuff. And everybody's all happy. And then she looks down and one of his girls that I guess
Which one?
he
There's so
had
many. There's so
yeah,
many.
he had fun with. I get one of the baby mamas is in the front row, and I
Mm.
believe she was with. I someone said she was with his mom, and also her friend, who was the guy that her ex cheated on her with. So he's not only got the mom with his girlfriend with his baby mama, it's the person that broke up her last relationship.
Wow.
They're friends. So she went off. So ESPN,
Understandable.
yeah,
Yeah.
ESPN coming to make it a Travis Kelsey, thing, and they're
Uh
all in
huh.
love with each other. And they asked her, what do you have to say? What do you have to say to encourage Stefan?" And she goes, "Good luck."
Mm.
And then did her halftime thing and left. They supposedly had a party that they had spent over $1 million on,
Yeah. Heard about this. Yeah.
after party, and neither one went.
I
So
mean, I don't blame Stefan for not showing up. I wouldn't want to party after losing the Super Bowl, unless you want to drink your sorrows away or something.
yeah,
But yeah, that became like the biggest sideshow was are they going to do it? Are they going to? Is he going to propose? And then obviously the final
she
score.
ain't even
You
there.
know,
She left. She did
yeah,
a video on Instagram while in the car after she left the Super Bowl at halftime. Just you can't make it up.
yeah.
When you have too many women like that, not that I've ever known that, but when you have too many people on the side, come on, man.
Gets messy. I'm sure it
Yeah,
gets real messy.
very messy. Now I said, and people got mad at me too. It's always the whoever wins the Super Bowl, they're the favorites to win the Super Bowl next year. I
Hmm.
don't think either team's getting to the Super Bowl next year. What do you think?
I think definitely you can count. I think you can count the Patriots out, right? I mean, for all the reasons that we've discussed, like they were not a worthy Super Bowl, contender at any point. I think, sure, okay, they were the 2 seed, all that stuff. They had the easiest schedule in the NFL. They get mad when you say that, but the facts are facts. Kudos for beating all those teams. And then you look at the road that they went on in the playoffs. You beat Justin Herbert and his like depleted offensive line. You beat CJ Stroud, who something broke in him the week before against Pittsburgh, and he just decided to turn the ball over a million times. And then you beat Jarrett Stidham, in a snowstorm, and you only put up 10 points. So it's not like they went through a murderer's row to get
And they
there.
should have won.
Yeah,
Denver, their kicker missed and they were hard kicks. It's in the winter,
yeah,
but Stidham played good. He outplayed May.
exactly.
May
If
had
Sean Payton kicks
81
that field
yards.
goal, yeah, if Sean
Yeah,
Payton
80.
kicks that field goal to go up 10-0, they probably win that game.
Yeah,
So,
because they would have changed the way that they played.
yeah.
And the
And I mean, they have,
problem,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
the problem is, let me get, and I'll let you get back to your point. I take screenshots now. Florence taught me to take screenshots of stuff because we've seen things that we'll look at our numbers on
Hmm.
YouTube and they're skyrocketing, then they go down, then they go back. It's crazy. But anyway, we I took a screenshot of every quarter of the playoffs,
Hmm.
and at the end of the game, Drake May had 86 yards passing against Denver, and he was 10 for 21. At the end of the third quarter against Seattle, he had 61 yards passing.
Jeez.
61.
Yeah, he
And
broke
I
the
and
record in the fourth quarter, by the way. Most fourth quarter passing yards
Yeah,
in
and
Super
Florence
Bowl
goes, are
history.
they ever going to score? Because she's a New England person, and I
Uh-huh.
said they're going to call the dogs off, and they're going to do prevent. So he's going to throw for 200 yards in the
Yeah,
fourth quarter, and they're going to look like he had an okay game, and that's
yeah.
exactly what happened. Because 61 yards at the end of three quarters. In 7 quarters, he had 147 yards.
Jeez, it's
Unbelievable.
not great. And this is a guy
Yeah.
that was the again second in the MVP voting.
MVP.
So yeah, it was hard to watch like how badly they got destroyed, and they're going to play a first place schedule next year. They're going to have a target on their back, and it's the notorious Super Bowl loser curse. The upside is that he's in his second year, so he's in the second year of his rookie contract, which I'm assuming he'll get that 50-year option, so he get
Yep.
5 years of this. For Seattle, though, they have $70 million in cap space next year. Sam
Yeah.
Darnold is only making $20 million next year, so he's locked in for 2 more years at like $35 million total. So
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll get a raise, an extension, or whatever. But that's not going to kick in until after the 2027 season. So
Yep.
they've got a lot of money to spend. The free agents that are left or that they need to resign, like they need to resign Kenneth Walker. We'll see
For
what he
sure.
gets. Tariq Woolen, he's okay. I think he'll probably leave, but they have a ton of money. So it's not like this is like a team that went all in, pushed the cap to the limit to try to chase the Super Bowl. So I can see them being back next year, especially the main issue obviously is like the brain drain. They lose Clint Kubiak. So you're wondering who's going
Yeah.
to call the offense and stuff like that. But if they figure that part out, they have a ton of money to spend. Their defense is still dominant. They still have the number one defense in the NFL. They have a incredible defensive coach. Like everyone's tripping all over themselves trying to give this guy credit and praise, and he deserves it for the
Yeah.
performance that they put on in the playoffs. So they play in a tough division. Obviously, with the Rams, they were right there with them. The Niners are always going to be a threat. You could kind of throw Arizona on the wayside there, but I can see them coming back next year, especially with all the money they have to spend.
Yeah, I think the key is their signings. A lot of times, I think when they had their last regime really liked to look at veterans, and they like to look at people that could fill holes. And I think with the Seattle now, they need to look at how they can shore up. There's still offensive line. I think they could get some help there.
Mm-hmm.
And their running backs always seem to be hurt. I don't know what it is about that team. There's certain teams, but
It's a big
it seems
question
like
there. Yeah.
every year, yeah, they have running back hurts, and good wide receivers. Tight end play was okay. So I mean, they're doing. I think they're good, but I think that their other teams are going to stick up. I like the 49ers. I think if they can just stay healthy, they're like the Tottenham Hotspurs of NFL.
Mm-hmm.
There's just certain teams that always have key injuries.
Yeah.
Now, this has been talked about on ESPN and other places very much. There's a lot of negativity and, back and forth with Max Crosby.
Mm.
Him, reporters saying that he told Brady he's out, he's never going to play again for him. Now they say, well, he's talking about staying, blah, blah, blah. Brady wants him to stay. What is your take on all of this with Max Crosby? Is obviously right now the core of the Raiders.
I think it's really easy to make up stories in this day and age, right? You can quote, an unnamed GM, someone that won't put their name on the source or on the story. It's like, oh, some unnamed GM just happens to know that Tom Brady, that Max Crosby had a private conversation with Tom Brady about, never playing for the Raiders again. But this is a guy that 3-4 days ago was in the facility, did an interview on ESPN, I believe. He's in Raiders gear, and he's talking about how excited he is for next season and the things that he's going to do. He's in the facility when Clint Kubiak's there. He wasn't at the press conference, but I think the only current player that was at the press conference was Ashton Genty, and he just kind of like
Hmm.
poked his head in. So he was there at the facility. This is not a guy that's like locking himself up in his house. So I think it's so easy these days to just make up a story. You can put
Yeah.
an unnamed source on it. You can say sources say, or this unnamed GM, blah blah blah. When it comes down to, this guy is under contract for another like 3 or 4 years at a pretty solid rate. If he wants a raise, sure, we'll give you a raise. We can restructure your contract, put some more money up front. Mark Davis has plenty of money to spend, on player bonuses and things like that. So if he's agitating for a new contract, sure, we'll give it to you. But we've seen this play out where a guy gets a little upset. It just takes a little massaging, right? Myles Garrett last year said he
Yep.
wanted out of Cleveland. He got a
He
big
was
deal, and
done.
now he's probably going to retire there. So people are trying to compare this to the Khalil Mack situation. It is not the same thing at all. Khalil Mack wanted a new deal. He was
Yep.
itching to be the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. Max Crosby already has a long-term contract in place that he agreed to. There's a new regime. There's a lot of positivity. I'm sure there's some fences that need to be mended there, but it's all just feels like sensationalist BS, where it's like, okay, there's an easy story that we can make up here and get some clicks our way. So until something happens like concrete, I think he's just going to be a Raider for a long time.
And the problem is too is you have a lot of bloggers, you have a lot of podcasters, you have a lot of people, and they'll act like they're in the know, or they'll
Mm-hmm.
just I saw them unfollow each other or do this, and all of a sudden I saw him at the airport in Kansas City, so he must be signing with Kansas City. I forget who that was last year. They had one of the teams. The player was in Kansas City. He was there to see one of his relatives.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe
he
he's
was
visiting his cousin or his
yeah,
grandma or
yeah,
something.
and now he's signing with the Chiefs. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the media's and everyone. It's that TMZ mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Who's first? It's like the Guthrie situation now. The
Yeah,
sad
it's terrible.
situation with Guthrie's mother being kidnapped, and it's horrible. But you're seeing all these stories, coming out. Oh, it's this person. It's this person. Oh, it was a
Mm-hmm.
girl. It was a guy. It was. I mean, just crazy. There's too many voices out there.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. I think I'm reading a lot about the NFL in Europe, and I'm reading a
Mm-hmm.
lot about the NFL. If you remember, the NFL has done everything. They have spent billions of dollars to try to get something going in Europe so they could expand. They would love to expand to London, Germany. They would love to go to Mexico and expand in these places. It just hasn't happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I think asking an NFL player to live in a foreign country to play for us or to fly all the time over there for away games, it's just
Mm-hmm.
unrealistic. Even though they're still doing games, I think the Saints are going to be playing in Paris for the first time.
Yeah.
Spain's got stuff going on.
Australia. They
Yeah,
got
what
Brazil again. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, they're
what's your
going
vibe?
everywhere.
What's your vibe with all this?
I don't see it ever happening. Like a permanent team in another country, it's hard enough with the NBA and their small rosters. Like, so people already complain about living in Toronto and having to deal with all the stuff that comes with living in a different country, the visa stuff, all that stuff. Same thing with the Blue Jays and the MLB and MLS, all that stuff. And that's Toronto, which is it's not even like that far north, right? It's basically a suburb of Buffalo, and you're talking about putting a permanent team for 8 games a year in London or France or something like that. It doesn't make sense from like a logistical perspective. I think they're just going to keep leaning into this, the NFL International Series, which is fine. I don't like that either. I don't like waking up at
Yep.
6 a.m. on a Sunday to have to watch.
Ugh.
I want to watch soccer. That's at that point. I'm already up there. I don't want to watch NFL. It really infringes on my Premier League watching, but I can't see like the logistics of it. And it's you're not dealing with a small roster of guys. You're dealing with 53 players, practice squad guys, like guys shuttling in and out, their families, all that stuff. I can't see it ever happening. I think it's going to be too difficult. If it ever happens, it's going to be somewhere, on this side of the world, maybe Mexico City, maybe Toronto, somewhere in the continental America area. But I would like to see them do NFL Europe again. I used to watch that when I was a kid. It was great. I love the logos. There was a lot of players there that came out of that. Sean Payton owes his start as a coach to the NFL Europe experiment. So I would love to see that, but I don't want to see a permanent team there.
Yeah, I think the problem I had with that is these guys were in it. They weren't in it for have a league in Europe. They were in it. They wanted it now,
Hmm.
and they think that having one just because you got billions of dollars don't mean you're smart and everything. I mean, Vince McMahon did his little wackadoodle NFL football thing, and that was a train wreck.
Yeah.
So just because you got a lot of money doesn't mean you're a genius at everything. But I think what happened with the NFL is they're now doing these hit and misses, thinking, oh my gosh, Paris going to fall so in love with this that they're going to freak out. They're going to demand this every year. It's going to be just this epic thing. I thought the World Football League, that it was fine. I would have kept it, but they weren't making a
Hmm.
gob of money on it. Some of
Yeah.
the places didn't get good uh, fan support. Some did, but they had a little core fan base. But you're dealing with countries that have been playing soccer, or as they call football, for hundreds of years. I mean, soccer, I believe, started in 3 BC or something. I mean, and then the modern soccer started, I believe, in the 1800s. So you
Hmm.
have countries that this is embedded in their culture. Then you have this weird American game, and Americans aren't exactly the favorite son of every country right now.
It's true. We
So
got booed at the Olympics. Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, we're getting booed at the Olympics, but anyway, so you have a situation where everyone it's not soccer. People will go, "Oh my gosh, 130 million watch the Super Bowl." Well, over a billion watch the World Cup, and
Yeah.
half a billion watch Euros.
I mean, more
So,
people watch like the big Sunday Premier League game
oh
than people
yeah,
watch the Super Bowl, and that's a regular season game. I think was it Liverpool Man City this past weekend?
Man City,
Yeah,
huge
more than
ratings.
yeah.
I watched it. So
So did I. It was great. It was
yeah,
a great game.
yeah, huge ratings, and the games. It's like that's what I love about it. It's that it's entrenched in their DNA, just like NFL is entrenched in our DNA. But we're kind of so arrogant that we think it's our biggest sport and it's the biggest thing. So everyone else should love
Yeah,
it, but they don't. Cricket in a lot of countries is bigger than
yeah.
football. So
Rugby.
yeah, so
I think there's space for their own league. Like
yeah,
I think I mean NFL Europe that was 20, 30 years ago. Football is in a different place. We didn't have this international series. So I think if you start with a small league, 6 teams or something, try to maybe bring back some of those NFL Europe brands, things like Barcelona Dragons, Rain Fire. I remember there's a couple of
yeah,
names that stick in my mind for some reason. And just put them in those major cities or maybe just put them in Germany. I know they're huge on American football there. They love it. Maybe one in London, something like that. I think people get really into things that are like they feel organic and they have like a real name to them. And it's like, yeah, I'm from San Jose, so I love the San Jose Earthquakes. So maybe if
yep.
you're in London and you have the London Knights or whatever, but these London Knights will play other teams in Europe. Like it doesn't again, logistics, all that stuff is just insane. You're expecting a team from San Francisco to fly for a road game to London like regularly or things like it just doesn't make sense to me. But a league itself, I think is like a minor league, spring league. I think that would be awesome.
Well, they used to use it kind of as a minor league, but now they have
Yeah,
college football that's a minor league. Did
this
you
is
see
true.
that one player that now is going in his ninth year of eligibility? Ninth.
Yeah, I think he's plays for Montana as like an FCS.
Yeah, he
The
could
thing is,
he could be a doctor by
I don't know
now.
what's real. I don't know what's
Ugh.
real, what's not. I saw a post today. It was an offensive lineman at some small school. He's in his 11th year. I was like, I don't know if this is satire or not because at this
Yeah, these
point,
guys are going to be in their
you know,
30s. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And with the NIL, you're making money, so why
yeah,
care? I mean, it's amazing. Like I said, there's some high school kids that are now making $1 million. I mean,
hey,
why would you ever go to? I would
good
never
for
go to
them.
class.
Yeah,
You know,
just
I
to stay
wouldn't.
eligible. That's the only reason.
I would
You know.
just enough to date and to go to dances and parties
And you
and
know what? In these days, for these colleges, they have online classes. So these guys,
oh, that's right.
they may never ever, like in 3 years, 4 years, they may never set foot on campus. They'll go to
And
the,
then
they'll go to the facility, they'll go to the locker room, they'll work out, do their thing, but they may never, in 4 years, they may never step foot in a classroom, which is crazy to think about. But they're still an enrolled student. And they
yeah,
can play. So
date a hot smart girl and have her do your work. I mean, good lord,
there
I'm
you go.
teaching kids how to cheat. That's what we do here. But anywhere, Now, I am definitely not a Derek Carr fan, but
I
there's
know you're
rumors
not.
that
Yeah.
Derek Carr may come back. There will definitely, with the state of the quarterback position in the NFL, there's going to be suitors if he comes back. And I told people, I said, he is not retiring. He's going to
Hmm.
take 2 years off and he's coming back. And everybody
Yeah.
said, oh, yeah, whatever. And he's taking 2 years off and he's coming back. There's just too much money. I mean,
Yeah.
and
He's still
if
young
you,
too. He's 34,
yeah,
35, something like
yeah,
that.
if you like a game and you get paid ridiculous money and you get adulation, I mean, adulation. Why would you not want to do it? I would. I'd want to play till 50. I mean,
As
good
much as he
lord.
can. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are some of the places you think would like him? I can see one place right now in Indianapolis wanting him.
Yeah. So
Where do you think?
I was doing my homework before the pod because this came up, and I'm a big Derek Carr guy. I love
Mm-hmm.
him as a person. I think he was a good enough quarterback to, uh, like if Sam Darnold can win a Super Bowl, why not Derek Carr with the
Oh,
right team around?
stop.
I'm just saying. I maintain that throughout his career, he was anywhere from like the eighth best to the 14th best quarterback in the NFL, and that's pretty good, right? For what you got. Uh, people said he made too much money, but if the team is willing to offer you a bunch of money, it's not
Oh,
like he's
look
going to
at
turn it
Kirk
down.
Cousins. I think
Exactly,
400 and
right?
some thousand he's made.
Yeah,
What, you can't blame the player. I mean,
of course
you know,
not. No, no, no.
are you going to
Yeah.
sit there, God, honey, I'm not worth this. I'm not signing this.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Not in a game where, the wrong snap and, you can get hit in three places and your leg blows up like Alex Smith and you never walk, all that stuff. Anyway, there's a few teams that I think make sense. You said Indianapolis makes sense. The only quarterbacks they have on the roster are Riley Leonard and Anthony Richardson. So maybe he's a
Neither can
possibility
throw.
there. Yeah, there you go. People talked about the Jets. He's a fan of the Jets. I would hate that for him. I don't go to
Oh,
another dumpster fire franchise, please.
he's never
Um,
going to New York. They would
yeah.
destroy him. No
So the
way.
other ones like Miami, they're looking to move on from Tua. He's got a bunch of dead cap money if they move on from him, but I think that relationship is done. I think that would be fun. He's a warm weather guy. People talk about him not being able to play in the cold. He'll have a couple dates in the cold with Buffalo, New York, and stuff, but I think he'd do well there. Uh, the Steelers would be an interesting possibility. They
Yeah.
currently don't have a quarterback. Who knows what happens with Aaron Rodgers?
I
The,
think he's going. You know where I think's a perfect place for him?
I wonder.
Arizona.
Yeah, you know what? I was going to say Minnesota,
I
but
was
Arizona makes
Minnesota.
sense too.
I think the problem with Minnesota is you have a guy. I never liked JJ McCarthy. Even my friends in the media liked him. Nice guy,
Hmm.
beautiful, awesome person. But I'm telling you, I don't like play when he played. He was not the key to the team. This
Yeah,
is why fans give all the credit to the players or to the quarterbacks. Quarterbacks get too much. Drake May threw for 86 yards against Denver, and they're yelling MVP.
makes no sense.
I
Yeah,
never heard it. I mean, you want to talk about a participation trophy? That was ridiculous. He had a horrible game.
yeah.
So this is what I'm saying is I
Hmm.
think that a lot of the times they do give the quarterbacks way too much credit and way too
Yeah.
much blame.
No, obviously. I mean, and like I said, if Sam Darnold can win a Super Bowl, why not, this list of guys that are just, okay, like I would say above replacement level quarterbacks that don't turn the ball over, things like that. And that's one thing Derek Carr doesn't do much of. He doesn't throw many interceptions. Arizona would be a nice fit for him. I still think they're like a Malik Willis favorite team because of the LaFleur connection. It's Matt LaFleur's brother. That's the head coach down there, but he's an offensive guy. So maybe he's looking at Kyler Murray. He's like, you know what? You're not my dude. You got 2 more years on your contract. You've been hurt all the time. Let's move on. I think the cleanest fit is probably Minnesota. I know JJ McCarthy's there. He's going into year 3, but I mean Indianapolis, they recognize their mistake. I don't think they're going to go with Anthony Richardson. So
Mm-mm.
Minnesota might just say, you know what? We don't need to move on from JJ McCarthy just yet. We can bring Derek Carr in for 2 years. I'm like 2 years. I don't know, 50 million, something like that, which is pretty reasonable for a starting quarterback. And then going into year 4, year 5 with JJ, let's see what he's got. So, and the funny thing is, I thought Minnesota was going to draft him, 10 years ago or whatever, and they ended up going with Teddy Bridgewater, and we know how that played out. So, I think it would be an interesting, like, full circle moment if he plays in Minnesota. But get this guy in a dome, get him in like a warm weather place. Minnesota is not a warm weather place, but they play indoors. So, and I think he'll shine. And if he plays for another 2 years, he's going to be top 20 in yards and touchdowns for all time. So,
Well,
you know,
this is what I think also is a problem with this generation with players. It's all about stats, and
yeah.
I'm about winning. If
Sure.
you threw like you look at Drake May, if you looked at his stats, you'd say he had a good game. Boy, he
Oh
did pretty
yeah.
good. 61 yards passing going into the fourth quarter, losing by 3 touchdowns. So I
Terrible.
mean,
Yeah.
that's and people are yeah, people were saying this morning, a couple writers, oh, Drake didn't play that bad. He played pretty good. I'm
He
like,
just
oh
got
my,
the crap kicked out of him. He
yeah,
couldn't do
poor
anything
guy
about
was
it, you know.
destroyed. So
Yeah.
it's just perception. Is Cooper Cup a Hall of Famer?
Absolutely not. He is in the Hall of Very Good, Hall of Really Good. I don't think so. There's like the two different types of Hall of Famers, right? You have the Terrell Davis, that was the best player in the NFL for 3 years, wins MVP, all that stuff, doesn't play that long. You're like, okay, this guy was the best player in the NFL or in the best running back for 2 or 3 years, or 3 years, I believe. He's 3-time first team All Pro. His peak was incredible. There's the other guys like the Frank Gore types, like Roger Craig got in recently, who were just great for a long time, and they deserve their credit for that. With Cooper Cup, he hasn't played long enough, first of all, and his peak, his like absolute peak, where he was the best receiver in the NFL, is just 1 year. He's only been
Yeah.
an All Pro one time, and I think that's just too low of a bar. Unless he plays another like 6 years and he keeps stacking up touchdowns and stuff like that. I was talking to my buddy, the football fan historian, a few months ago about Hall of Fame credentials and stuff like that, and he said generally the 100 touchdown benchmark is like the minimum you need to get into the Hall of Fame if you're not like a Terrell Davis type player. And Cooper Cup is at like 60. So I don't see him getting to 100 anytime soon. He seems to have concussion problems, things like that. I don't think he plays for another 5 years. So he's in like the Hall of Really, Really Good. He'll be a fun story, fun trivia question about winning the Triple Crown that 1 year, but he's not a Hall of Famer to me.
Yeah, I don't think he's close. I mean, I think there's a lot of players that get into the Hall of Fame that they're very good players,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't. What's really sad is a lot of players of the 60s and 70s and 80s. First of all, when this is how bad some of the media, and to you media that really love history, you guys are my heroes because you look at when Sonny Jurgensen passed away, maybe the most talented quarterback ever to play the game. He was just so naturally talented.
Mm-hmm.
His throwing arm, many feel him and Marino and Elway are probably the greatest passers of natural passers of all time. Hardly anyone in the mainstream media said a word about him. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable. But here's one of the great quarterbacks, but they don't even know who he is. All these all-time lists that end at 2005. There was an all-time wide receiver list, and it wasn't a wide receiver other than Jerry Rice past 2007. I'm like, what is going on? If you don't
Yeah.
know
Doesn't make
history,
sense.
that's cool. That's your thing. But don't call it an all-time list if you don't know what that there was life before 2000. I mean, come on.
Yeah, call it
But
like best receivers of this millennium. Do something
yeah,
like that. But
and that's the problem is you have Otis Taylor was obviously such an icon of the game. His great catch in the again in the Kansas City Minnesota Super Bowl was the one that launched him to victory. I mean, just an amazing player. Can't get in the Hall of Fame because he doesn't have the monster stats of today's player.
mhm.
There's a lot of today's quarterbacks and wide receivers that are going to get in the Hall of Fame that don't deserve it, and that's what
Yeah,
bothers me
yeah,
because of
it's a
their
lot of like
stats.
the stat guys. There needs to be. I've heard talk about this being like, how did you perform versus the league average, right?
Yep.
So, if you're 1,000 yard receiver in 2026, like it's not that great, right? You played 17 games, their passing yards, all that stuff is up incredibly. So you're basically like in like the 50th percentile if you're 1,000 yard guy. If you're 1,000 yard guy when Cliff Branch was playing, or some of these guys in the 60s
Yeah,
and
that's pretty.
70s, like if you look at the receiving yards like rankings at that time, there's like three guys in the whole league that have 1,000 yards receiving.
Yeah.
So that obviously puts you in the 99th percentile. So I think people like, especially in this day and age of analytics and data and all this stuff, it's so easy to do all these things with data sets and algorithms. Like you can easily see which guys are in the top, 3%, top 1% in the league, and that should be the criteria. Because you're right, there's going to be a lot of these stat guys that are going to get in, and you're just going to be like, I mean, did he deserve it? Like, what did he do that was so great? Okay, he threw for 4,000 yards 10 times. Like, okay, so did everybody else. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think, and it's really disappoints me because I was one of the very small people that tried to help get Ken Stabler in the Hall of
Hmm.
Fame, and it was so frustrating because all the players of the day, Tom Jackson, who absolutely hates the Raiders, said Ken was not only the best quarterback of our era, he was one of the best, if not the best quarterback I ever saw,
Yeah.
and in our league. And here, the Steelers fans and players are fighting for him. I mean, this is the thing. That's respect. No one hates the Raiders more than the Steelers. Uh, so it just frustrates me when you don't look at the game and you don't understand the game and you don't understand. They don't even play in mud anymore. I
This is
mean,
true. That is true.
there's turf. They want domes because they don't want the rain in. I mean, everything is the fields are impeccable. You didn't play in Indianapolis or Baltimore or Cleveland where they literally it was it was dirt and
Yeah.
mud and they would put sand on it at
With a
halftime
dirt
to make
infield in half the
yeah.
places because it was a
Look at
mixed
Oakland
use stadium.
Coliseum.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they were the last place to have the infield dirt, so they didn't even have mud anymore. So I mean, you have, and if you have a dome, you don't have cold. I mean,
Yeah.
so
I mean, I'm one of those
uh,
guys. I prefer the good weather. I prefer the dome, but I will always acknowledge the players that the
yeah,
stuff they had to deal with. And you know me, I'm an amateur sports historian. I love the old school football guys. I
yeah,
love the old school NBA, MLB, all that stuff. It's like when it gets to the point where you're dismissing the guys that were the trailblazers, the best players in the league at the time, just because of stats, I think it just throws all your credibility out the window. Like stats don't matter. The
yeah,
stats, I mean, without context, I should say, stats don't matter without context. And if you're just looking at raw numbers and all that stuff, oh, look at I don't know, Kirk Cousins versus Ken Stabler. Oh, look, he had better numbers. Like none of that stuff
yeah. They
matters
were
to me.
telling me Kirk Cousins was 10 times better. I'm like, oh my god, over this Ken Stabler. I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, you're right. And you know what? Going on a thing, and I want to make the last thing. We were asking about the halftime show of the NFL, who could even do it anymore? Take out
That
Taylor
wouldn't piss
Swift.
off half the country.
Yeah, take out Taylor Swift. I don't really see anyone that was really, where I would have had, and let me ask you, you're a Bay Area guy, but at your age, I want to know if you would have been excited about this halftime. For me, I would have paid Steve Perry and Journey $1 million
Oh,
and said, "Do Journey." Would you have liked that?
it would have been awesome. I'm a Bay Area guy. I'm not that old. I'm 37, but I love Journey. My kids love Journey. They love the lights. That's they play that at every Giants game. It's an
Yeah,
iconic Bay Area thing. I think if they wanted to do that, it would have been fun if they had like an iconic, Bay Area rock bands. It could have been like Green Day, Metallica, uh, Journey. Like there's so many. Like the Bay Area is a hotspot for rock music, so you could have done that. But I
I would
think
have
like
done Journey.
yeah, but like we were talking about there with this NFL Europe and this global stuff, they're playing games in Brazil and all that. Like Bad Bunny is the most streamed artist on Spotify worldwide. So that is very much the reason why they put him on the halftime show.
Hmm.
And it's like the reason they picked someone like that is because guys like you and me, we're football guys, right? We're going to watch the Super Bowl no matter what, right?
Yeah.
But you see the shift at there's all these memes and videos of like the NFL, like during the game all the guys are sitting on the couch and they're all locked in their jerseys, and then the halftime show comes on, and like all the guys leave, they go get a beer, or use the bathroom, and then the women come and they watch the halftime show, and it's all these people
Or
that
they
don't
watch the
watch.
commercials. They like the
Exactly.
commercials. Yeah.
So the Super Bowl halftime show it's not for football fans, it's
Mm-mm.
for other fans, and the NFL is trying to bring them in.
It's
And
for
Bad Bunny
casual
was,
fans.
yeah, he's
Nothing wrong
perfect
with
for
that.
that. He's a worldwide superstar in the Spanish speaking world, which is what they're trying to do. But yeah, it would have been fun to see Journey. I love him.
I
It
would
would have
have
been
had
great.
Journey, and my second pick was Metallica. Metallica, the nicest guys, and these guys love football. Virginia Tech uses "Enter the Sandman"
Hmm.
as their entrance music, and they sometimes will go live on their big screen and give a little, shout out to Virginia Tech to do well.
Yeah. You
So
know what
to
the
me,
best part
that
about
would
Metallica is? They're diehard Raider fans. So I love that.
Huge Raider fans.
Some
Yep.
Oakland guys, not even San Francisco. Oakland, give us Green Day and Metallica. So
Oh yeah,
SF, you can
all
have Journey. Yeah,
thrash metal in Bay Area. They even made a movie out of this. It's
yeah.
on Prime Video if you ever watch it. And it was my era, the 80s, with all the thrash metal bands who came up north and all the craziness they did. It was great. Anthrax, Pantera, all
Oh,
that
there's
stuff.
so
I like
many.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, I love all that junk. It's great. But yeah, I would have had Journey, and I would have had. I think if I'm going to L.A., I don't know if they're still big enough, but why can't you get Def Leppard, who's
Mm.
still, get a 70s, get an 80s band that's still touring, and uh, actually Journey's in the East Coast right now, but a lot of bands that are still touring in that era to get one of the hair bands. I think
I
Def
want to
Leppard would
say
be a good
Journey
one.
performed at the NFC Championship game a couple years ago.
Oh, did
The
they?
Niners Lions. Yeah, I remember my
Not
friends of mine were
Steve
there, and
Perry though, the other guy,
yeah,
the new
the
lead
new
singer.
guy. Yeah, yeah.
And boy, is he good! He
He
sounds
sound
just like Steve
just like
Perry.
him.
I mean, he's amazing.
I,
But
I love the idea of like an artist or artists from the city. I think that's always like a great angle where they do that. Like the LA
yeah,
thing where they had Snoop and Dre and all that a couple years ago. That
hmm
was awesome. So I would love to see that.
yeah. See, to me, that's what I would want. If it's in New York, get Bruce Springsteen. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's different areas, get it for that area. I thought they totally missed the ball with Journey. That would have been a huge halftime show. I would have actually really been into that. I'm
Yeah.
not a huge Journey fan, but they're so talented. They
I don't
got
know if
voted.
anyone under like 30 knows who Journey is. Maybe if they go to Giants games, they know, but
You
I
know,
just,
I think the thing is that a lot of teams use Journey songs
they do.
as I know Iowa and some other ones will let's see what we just got a couple messages. I want to read them, make sure they're
Yeah.
clean.
I mean, Don't Stop Believing. That's an iconic song. They play that
Oh,
all the
here it
time.
is.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is one of your friends. Derpy says, "Congrats, Khalid, your team, but that was the worst Super Bowl of all
He
time."
thinks it's my team because I'm wearing my Marshawn Lynch
Oh, the
jersey.
Seattle. Yeah. Hey, I like your
Yeah.
thing. But I, I don't think it's, if it's me, I would think it's top five worst. And so I'm with you, Derpy. I think that it wasn't very good. Uh, I just thought the level of play wasn't all that good. Give it up to Seattle. You won a Super Bowl. Their defense played great,
Hmm.
but yeah, that
They're
wasn't.
just it wasn't like anyone iconic in it.
Khaled's nicer than me,
Yeah.
but that's why he says that.
There wasn't anyone iconic in it, right? Like it wasn't Mahomes or Brady or Manning or even like Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford. Like there was no big stars in it. Like the biggest star there was maybe Cooper Cup. I don't know. Like
Yeah,
even
it was
then, it's like
brutal.
it was kind of an anonymous. I think that contributed to like the level of interest in it, but it's still it still had what 200 million people watch it. So
Yeah, well, 130 million
130. There you go.
watch it worldwide. Yeah, but I can't wait till the World Cup. We're working on some stuff. We've got some clubs that we're actually talking to. We're trying to get some people. I'm working hard. I really want us to do some lives at some bars and some pubs
That'd be
because I'm a
awesome.
huge
Yeah,
soccer guy.
we got a great bar
Germany
downtown.
and
Yeah.
Spain,
Oh, Germany. All right.
half German, half Spain. So
Yeah.
half Spanish. So and what's your teams?
I'm going for Egypt and I guess the U.S. just because I'm here. I'm Egyptian by origin, whatever. That's where my parents are from, so I always root for them. And then the U.S. I root for them just because I live here. I don't see them going very far.
No,
Hopefully, they get like
we
the home
suck in
team.
soccer.
They'll get like the home team boost, right? The home team always
Yeah.
makes it to like at least like the quarterfinals, which would be nice. But I'm really curious to see how this like expanded field goes, where there's I think 48 teams now, and it's just getting to like March Madness level where you're probably gonna have like 100 teams in a in a few cycles. But I'm really excited for it. I think it's gonna be awesome.
I think it is too. I'm next week. Why don't we talk about the draft? We'll get back into hardcore stuff,
Yeah,
and we'll talk about the draft because this draft is going to be very interesting. Mel Kiper was talking about this could be the most weirdest draft because you could even see after the second pick or even the third pick, everything going crazy and
Hmm.
people picking crazy things. I don't like Ty Simpson, but there already some are saying he's top 20. He's going
Yeah.
top 20. And I'm so I it's going to be very interesting what happens. There's going to be a lot of busts and there's going to be a lot of good picks. So should be
I'll do my
interesting.
homework.
Yeah, well, it's going to be good. I'm
Yeah.
going to study this weekend as well. So we'll be seeing you. Florence and I will not be doing our show because we did a pre-release tape of oh my God, it was Slomsowicz. Keith Slomsowicz was the boyfriend of Nicole Brown Simpson,
Mhm.
and we did an interview with Keith, and he talks about the absolute horrors he went through being the boyfriend during their breakup with Nicole, and the things that he did and said in his book. We're going to be promoting his book. We're releasing that out tomorrow. We've already done the interview, so we won't be doing a live. But Florence and I will be back Monday. Khaled and I will be back Wednesday, and then we have a great show Thursday with a very special guest next week that we're going to be doing, who is a famous horror film actor, and I
Mhm.
cannot wait. I'm a big fan of his, and their family's been very kind to us. So we have so much going on, you guys, but we thank everybody, and we hope that you guys all have a great week, end of the week, and also weekend. Khaled, where can they find you?
You can find us on all the major platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff at 4040 Vision Sports.
Okay, great. And you could follow Florence and I on the Forum Celebrity Podcast on YouTube, the Forum Celebrity Podcast, and please subscribe. Thanks to all our new subscribers. And you can find Florence and I on Twitter. I'm at Real James Pat, and Florence is at Florence Carmela. So please follow us. Everyone, take care. Have a great week and great weekend. Be safe out there. Keep peace in the
Thanks,
streets.
James. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.